In this video, I want to show you why the stewards were right not to penalise Red Bull at the 2022 Monaco Grand Prix, but why that also shows that this year's pit exit rules are both dangerous and wrong. In Ferrari's protest, they claimed that Red Bull hadn't kept to the right-hand side of the solid yellow line, which is there to separate cars leaving the pits from cars on track. Now, this is really the understanding that we'd all had of this rule up until this steward's ruling, and in fact, the wording of the rules up until 2022 supported this. Previously, the rule stated that any part of a car leaving the pits must not cross the solid line, which separates the pits from the track, and for reasons that we don't quite understand, this was changed for 2022 to say any tyre of a car exiting the pits must not cross the solid line. Now, I'm going to show you why both of these interpretations don't make any sense if you take the word cross to mean entirely cross with all of the thing we're talking about, whether it's a part of a car or a tyre. The point of this solid line is purely and simply to separate high-speed, on-track traffic from cars that are going slowly as they exit the pit lane. It's that speed differential which is obviously dangerous, so this makes no sense as a rule other than to mean, essentially, an invisible wall. You want there to be a line painted on the track that the drivers treat as a solid wall. And with solid walls, you can't be partially over the top of them because that means you've crashed into them. So in short, the only sensible interpretation of this rule is that none of your car can cross over the top of it. And that goes for cars on track or cars exiting the pits. If you allow either of those cars to use some of the line, that means the car on the other side could also be using some of the line and they're going to meet in the middle. So surely it's obvious, and it seems to have always been in the past, that you're just not allowed to touch the line. The wording change for this year is a bit bizarre, but it doesn't really change what we've always known this rule to mean. The fact that the stewards have deemed that for this rule to have been broken, the tyre of Verstappen's car would have had to be fully past the edge of the line, means that he could easily have come into contact with a car on the other side of that line. So it just makes no sense to read it in that way. And I'm pretty confident that going forward, this will be reinterpreted or hopefully clarified. But it just seems to be another example of a slightly strange FIA ruling that goes against the well-known precedents of the past and, in its most basic form, the entire reason that the rule exists. The race director understood why that rule was there, and that's why he clarified in his race director notes before the weekend the drivers had to stay to the right of the yellow line. I think sometimes the officials just need to step back and think about why the rule was made in the first place, especially when it's something to do with safety like this. There were no problems this time, but it's just the kind of thing that can lead to an escalation where something dangerous could happen in the future.